Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in, and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking, so what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo, this is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 267 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I'm your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we are part of the Going for Two Live podcast network, and we're live here every Wednesday night on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch on all major podcast networks. And, of course, we're in the app for Going for Two app for iOS and Android. If you are on Twitter, Twitter still has some issues with comments, so please go find us on YouTube. Then you can comment with the show and make sure to like and subscribe to YouTube as well. Introduce my co-host as always, Mr. Ryan Steerfoss. What's up, Ryan?
Oh man, ready to talk about the best division of football. Let's see if you know, in case you had questions.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Mr. Ryan is a Ravens fan, and we are doing division previews tonight. So the NFC North and the AFC North.
I just realized I'm not wearing Ravens gear for it.
You lose. All right, let me introduce. We got two guests tonight. We'll introduce Gerson, who's the last-minute fill-in here. We're supposed to have Chris Robin. He couldn't make it, unfortunately. Gerson is always on call for us. You could follow him on Twitter at FantasyGDFS. Of course, he's part of Going for Two. He's also my co-host on the DFS show during the season. What's up, Gerson?
Okay, for a second, when you said unfortunately, I thought you meant in like a way like, damn it, we have to put him on.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, we got Gerson.
We have to replace him. Okay. Not much, man. Just ready for football, man. I keep counting down the days and the weeks. I think like eight more Sundays for football, basically. Yeah. Well, not Thursday, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's crazy to think that, I know we're in July and it feels like it's so far away, but really when I'm like doing, my guests and booking out, I'm booking August already, thinking about preseason and redraft and everything else. It's crazy to be thinking about that already. So it's awesome. All right, also joining us for the first time, he's now part of Going for Two as well. Also host of the Dynasty Fever podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at FFJunkie_. Mr. Brian Ford. What's up, man?
How's it going? Happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to talking about the worst division. No, unlike Gerson, I was not Plan B, and unlike everybody else, I'm probably the baldest one here and the one not wearing a hat. So who knows?
I'm probably second baldest. I'm getting there.
Yeah, Ryan's pretty bald there. I have a lot of hair on my head.
It's a little rough.
So everybody knows Gerson already, so I'll give you a chance, Brian, to sort of give us a little bit of what you do in the fantasy space and kind of how you came to Going for Two and what you've been doing for us so far.
Right on. Yeah, I appreciate it. So, I've been playing fantasy football for over 20 years now, and just a few years ago, really got into it as far as on the Twitter sphere and listening to podcasts and that sort of thing. And I started writing. Shout out to Dynasty Pros. They're the first people who gave me a shot. I was in if you remember Clubhouse, I was in a Clubhouse audio chat talking about writing and stuff like that Jorge Edwards was in. And so I was on Fantasy Frames team for a while there. Had a lot of fun there. Some of my articles are still there on fantasyframes.com. So. And really that's around when the Dynasty bug was really hitting me. And I said, you know what, if I'm going to do content, I really want to focus a lot on Dynasty. So I started Dynasty Fever, expanded to a Dynasty podcast on Fantasy and Frames, yada, yada, yada. Recently moved on from Fantasy and Frames to going for Two. And I have a Cole Kmet article dropping on Friday, and I'm working on a Dynasty Guy's Guide to Redraft Sleepers as well. And however I can fit in the Dynasty sphere in the GF2 universe, I'm willing to do it.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad to have you on board. All right, so like I mentioned, we're doing mock draft. We're doing division previews tonight. We're doing the AFC and the NFC North. We do them differently than everybody else. We do them in a mock draft format. But before we get to that, let's pay some bills. Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's fantasy football with no waivers, no setting lineups, no worrying about injuries. With their best ball leagues, you can do the fun part, and that's draft. It's like a mock draft you can win money from. Download the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS or Android and use our promo code GF2 to get 100% deposit match up to $100. And then for as low as $3, you can join one of our Going for Two leagues or another contest in the lobby, like their Best Ball Mania 3 contest with over $10 million in prizes. $2 million going to first. All you got to do is get the app, get the promo code GF2, get your deposit match, and start winning.
And now, the five 101s.
All right, Gerson, you know how this works. Brian, this is your first time on.
I love the drop. It's like intense. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's 5 non-football related categories. You're going to give us your 101 for that category. So, Brian, we'll go to you first. Give me your 101 duo.
Yeah, so as a history teacher and somebody who's heavily involved politically, it was really hard for me to skew towards something fun here. So I'm going to go with Ren and Stimpy. I remember being like a teenager in the 90s and that being on and just really, really enjoying it. And probably under the influence often when I watched it. But I really loved Ren and Stimpy. Yeah.
That's a good one. We haven't had that one yet. That's definitely a good one. Gerson, what do you got for your 101 duo? I guess we're probably at your 103 duo at this point. We've gotten your duo before.
I think one of my favorite duos of all time, and probably nobody would talk about it, is Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning. Those guys were so smooth, man. Even though Marvin Harrison was kind of like a pussy, never took hits, he just laid there. I mean, when you're as small as him, I probably do the same, you know. You got a guy like Ray Lewis coming at you. But it was so much fun to watch.
Good stuff. All right, let's go back to you, Brian. 101 fictional character you'd want to meet in real life.
Yeah, so this was, I said in the Twitter chat, really hard for me. Like, I don't really watch much or read much anymore, and so it was kind of hard to think about. So I went with my youth, and I went with a fictional character that isn't a human, and I went with Yoda from Star Wars. Just would be really cool to chill with him and soak in some wisdom and talk about life.
Nice, that's awesome. I'm actually introducing my daughter to the Star Wars universe. She's 9. We've gone through the original series now, and we were up to episode 3 of the second trilogy, and she loves it. And Yoda's one of her favorites. We just got through with the scene where Yoda fought Count Dooku, or the lightsaber, and he's jumping and flying all over the place. My daughter loved that scene, so great choice. Gerson, what's your 101 fictional character you'd want to meet in real life?
Oh man, I can't remember the last 2 I said, so I'm trying to think of a different one. Probably Batman. I think I go with Batman, but Christian Bale Batman.
Batman. Get specific. I like it.
I don't want to meet Robert Pattinson or Ben Affleck.
So you want to meet Christian Bale is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Batman.
And the thing about Batman too is like, no superpowers. Does it all with like just being martial arts and a belt, right? Like,
yep.
Gerson, the way you're gonna beat Batman is you're gonna jaywalk and he's gonna like break your leg.
All right, let's go to 101 intro music. Brian, what you got?
Yeah, so greatest band in the world, Fish. There's a song called Mike's Song, and it's really got nothing to do with me. It's just that the opening just really just jazzes me up, and the crowd goes wild when they hear the first few notes, and it just takes me right back to being at MSG and watching them on New Year's and stuff. So yeah, nice. Mike's Song by Fish. Yeah,
I'm familiar with the band, but not the song. I'm gonna have to go listen to it after the show. Gerson, I don't think you've had this one before. This is a newer one for us. I don't know if you've given us your 101 intro music before.
I have. I said Stone Cold, but I all 4th of July, I was playing this like 20 times. Hulk Hogan, A Real American. Have you guys been like that one? Yeah, I was playing that, and then I started doing like the the Kenny Power intro. My friends were like, "No, dude, stop." I'm like, "No, 4th of July, baby. I'm a real American." They're like, "Dude, you're a beaner." I'm like, "Oh, way to fuck doing it, bro."
Whoa. Never get canceled tonight. I thought you were going to say Al Snow, but it's okay.
All right, back to you, Brian. 101 superpower, if you could have one.
Another tough one. I went with time manipulation. Pause, rewind, fast forward.
That's one we haven't had yet. I like that.
Very useful in my life.
Yeah, how far can you go back? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Gerson, what about your superpower?
The Sano glove thing, because it controls all kind of.
You want to just snap your fingers and get rid of all your.
No, I can control. Ryan knows this: the time, the infinity, all the infinity stuff. Yeah, that
one right there. All right, last one, Brian. Your 101 dead musical artist.
Yeah, another really tough one, given my wide array of musical tastes, but I'm gonna go with Old Faithful Jerry Garcia. I saw them only twice before he passed when I was like 17. But yeah, just such a huge catalog and just much love for Jerry.
Good stuff. Gerson, what you got? Your 101 dead musical artist.
I don't really listen to too much music. I actually listen to Ryan 30 podcast and Jeff 25. I'd probably say Michael Jackson after my first one, because I don't really listen to music. The number one was Chester Bennington, Linkin Park. That's
right. Yeah.
Michael Jackson, man. I think when he wasn't like a creep, but more his early day stuff. Like when he was in the King of Pop. But definitely him.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Jackson's music is still good to this day. I like that one. All right. So first up, we're gonna do the AFC North mock draft. The way we do this is we're gonna go. It's gonna be 12 teams basically, 2 rounds, so 24 players total, and we'll just rotate between Ryan, Brian, and Gerson. Let's go ahead and get to the drop.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, Brian, you have the 101 in this draft. So who are you taking here? Oh, I mean, preface this by saying this is Superflex and tight end premium, so it makes most of these players pretty valuable here. So give me your 101 here, Brian.
Yeah, so I would have been torn on this in a real draft, whether it's redraft or dynasty. But I'm going to choose a guy that I want to hear your opinion on, Joe Burrow. It seems that there's a crowd of people who are like Joe Burrow negative regression hashtag, right? And some other people who might even be to the other end and are maybe overinflating him. Not really sure what to make of him in 2022, especially in a redraft format. So curious what you guys think about Joe Burrow.
So I'll go first here because I have the 106 in the Scott Fishbowl, and that's kind of who I'm hoping to land is Joe Burrow at that 106 spot. And, he led the league last year in completion percentage. He has probably the league's most exciting rookie receiver in Jamar Chase. Now he's going to be the second year. He's got T. Higgins there, who could be a number 1 on most teams. He's got Tyler Boyd as his number 3, who was probably the best number 3 receiver in the league. Joe Mixon in the backfield. I think wheels are up for Joe Burrow. He seemed to fix that offensive line.
Improved offensive line.
Yeah, and say this fixed offensive line.
They added three people to that line. Like it improved a lot.
Yeah, so they should definitely wheels up for me for Joe Burrow. All right, Gerson, you got the 102 here. Where you going?
I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson. I think it's like I've always said. I always try to get quarterbacks that are Konami code quarterback, and even Scott Fishbowl, Dynasty Superflex, anything like that, he's a top 5 quarterback, even maybe a top 5 pick, But in this format, easily Lamar Jackson. We're doing AFC North, right? First.
Yep, AFC North.
Yeah. All right, double checking you. Yeah, but it's definitely Al Jack. I think he'll come back healthy. I think they said something. He packed on like 20 pounds. Is that true, Ryan?
Pure muscle.
Oh yeah.
That's how it always is. Yeah, but yeah, he's
pure muscle, not pure gut.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
no, he's definitely bigger.
if he bulked up, that's good for him because we don't want him to get hurt. And he did his. I don't even know what's up with his contract though. I
feel like everybody's got it wrong. He's just waiting to like.
get paid.
I think he wants to finish the season so he gets the max money because he thinks he underperformed last year.
Yeah,
Like that's legit. He said that in front office said it, and that's terrifying. Baltimore is going to pay him though.
Yeah, he's going to get paid. They're not letting.
And it's going to be by the Ravens. There's no way they lose him.
He's his own agent, so he better get paid.
Oh, that's the scary part.
All right, Ryan, you got the 103 here, and quarterback are getting kind of rough here. You going somewhere else?
I see you crossed off Baker Mayfield already, which is kind of garbage because nobody picked him.
Somebody picked him. The Panthers picked him.
Yeah, he's with the whole fifth. We got the same for a kicker. I'm taking Najee Harris here. Dude, like, he's going to get so much volume. He had 381 touches last year. That's absurd. Now they're going to either have a rookie quarterback or Mitch Trubisky, who they're going to try to protect because they're not that great, but they're still an improvement, so that should open up the field. But he's going to get 350 touches this year again. And I'm locking down that running back position, and he had 94 targets. Like, he does, like, that's what you want for a PPR running back. He's probably my RB2 in fantasy right now. Like, in contemplating RB1. Like, he's close for me. And it makes me sick because I hate Steelers, but he's freaking good, man. And I hate how the community's viewing him right now and just kind of arbitrarily moving people ahead of him when he's done nothing but produce in his 1 year.
In a team that wasn't very good, an offensive line that wasn't very good, and he still managed to produce RB1 numbers.
Yeah, he had almost 1,700 scrimmage yards. Like, that's what I want out of my RB1.
Yep, last attack is pretty good. All right, Brian, we're back to you at the 104.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to stack here and grab myself Jamar Chase. Sorry. I mean, you know, in the dynasty community, it's kind of like Chase Jefferson, who do you love? I kind of came around and I'm a Chase guy, just, you know, dynamic talent. He's going to eat. And as you all said before, you know, with the many weapons on the Bengals offense and still not that great a defense, I'm looking for a lot of numbers out of Jamar Chase for sure. Yeah.
Brian, Ryan's a big Jamar Chase guy too. He was loving him.
Big.
Huh?
Understatement here.
Yeah.
I love her.
Me?
Yeah, we all love Jamar Chase. I know Gerson definitely a big Jamar Chase guy as well with him coming out. All right, Gerson, you're up next at the 105.
I'm gonna stack my guy. I mean, there is a lot of good options available, but I'm gonna go Mark Andrews. This is tight end premium, so give me Mark Andrews, stack him with Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews, I mean, this guy was a beast last year. I mean, I see that nobody really set their, like, everybody says Kyle Pitt 101 in Dynasty, but I've seen people say Mark Andrews 101 sometimes, you know? So it's kind of flip-flop back and forth. But as of right now, obviously, I'd go Kyle Pitt 101, but Mark Andrews, you got to give him some respect. What he did last year and getting rid of, like, I mean, there's only him and Bateman there, you know? And we all know Andrews is the guy there, basically.
Yeah, I think in tight end premium
targets.
Yeah, and say in tight end premium leagues last year, I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I think he's the third highest non-quarterback player next to, of course, Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor. He was number 3 or 4. He was up there as a tight end. That's definitely positional value that you can't pass up. He was a beast last year for sure. And the fact that you already took L. Jackson, now you got a stack of Mark Andrews. Love that. All right, Ryan, 106.
Man, I was upset about that. I'm going Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's tried and true. Like, every year, he's boring. He's not flashy, but he's going to get you 1,200 scrimmage yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns. And if Deshaun Watson's there, he's going to get more red zone opportunities, and I'm happy. If Deshaun Watson's suspended, they're going to have Jacoby Brissett in there, which means they're going to run the ball 1,000 times. And Nick Chubb is going to take a nice percentage of the rushing yards. He's going to get fed this year, and I think it's time for him to start creeping up a bit.
Yeah, the biggest knock on him has always been PPR side of things. And, that's still a knock on him. But
dude, but still, 1,400 scrimmage yards, 9 touchdowns this year. The year before, 1,212. Like, he's never had less than 8 touchdowns. He scores fantasy points.
Yep.
It's not exciting, but you know what? It works. I'm never going to say, oh, should I bench Nick Chubb this week for some scrub? No, I'm starting him. I'm comfortable with it. He's going to get his. He's going to get his 20 carries. Move on.
Yep. Agreed. All right, Brian, 107.
Yeah, so as much as I like to grab running backs early, I'm not sure if I'm robust or not. I don't know how folks define that. Tight end is even thinner now in our player pool, and I'd like to talk about Pat Freiermuth. I've seen some people make a case that he's kind of a fade this year, a negative regression candidate, because essentially he had a quarterback with a floppy arm who threw him, 2-yard chucks and he fell in the end zone, right? And that the PPR value isn't there because it was a touchdown efficiency was so much of his production. So in a tight end premium, is he going to get enough targets to warrant the sort of value that people are placing on him? I'm not sure, but given the player pool, I'll take Freiermuth.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Like you mentioned, the tight end is thin in general, and then when you talk about just the NFC North, you're getting really thin there. And Freiermuth is definitely one of those top tight ends that you'd want to grab. All right, Garrison, you're at the 108.
I think I'm going to take I have my quarterback, my running back, my tight end. I'm going to go Joe Mixon. We saw what Joe Mixon did last year. He had over 16 touchdowns. I mean, he broke out big time, even though, we've seen him break out his first year, 2019, but second year injury, but 292 attempts. And I think this offense is only going to get better. Their offensive line improved dramatically this offseason. I'm excited to see where this offense goes. They added linemen, they added a tight end in Hurt, and just see where it goes. And on Mixon's upside can only go higher. I mean, 1,200 yards is not bad, but I think he can touch that 1,500-yard range if he stays healthy and that offensive line improvement. But it's all on Joe Burrow. That offense moves wherever Joe Burrow goes, because I don't even know who the backup quarterback is, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either, honestly.
Yeah. But
let's hope Burrow stays healthy. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. And going back to Mixon, I just implore the Bengals to start using him more on third downs. I've heard, they're going to be using is it Chris? Who's the
Chris Evans?
Chris Henry or Chris Evans? Yeah, they're going to use him on third downs now. I'm like, please give Joe Mixon some more third down work, because his value could be so much higher if you get that third down work. Ryan, you're up at the 109.
I paid J.K. Dobbins. Like, we're looking at the offense. Yeah, it's completely different pick, but I don't care. The Ravens had 515 rushing attempts last year with Devontae Freeman and the ghost of Latavius Murray at running back, and still pounded the ball, and they both averaged over 4 yards a carry, and they have zero explosiveness. They were the bottom for runs over 20 yards. Dobbins averaged six a pop as a rookie. Him healthy with Lamar Jackson, he doesn't even need 40% of the rushing attempts in this offense to hit 200 carries. And the way they rotate, that keeps them fresh. They're going to run the ball a lot. If you look at their offseason, they worked on the offensive line. They improved that. They drafted 2 tight ends for heavy sets. They're going to run the ball, and Dobbins is going to be their lead guy. And like I said, 35 to 40%, which is low estimate, that's going to put him over that 1,100-yard mark.
Yeah, good
Ryan,
stuff.
can I ask you? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Brian.
As a flock member, what do you hear about him and his knee and that recovery? Because I've seen some people be skittish about him. I know ACLs are different than they used to be, etc. What's your feeling on that?
So the last I saw, he was working out like pool workouts and sideline stuff, like just kind of light work. They're going to keep him on the preseason. I don't know if they're going to put heavy workload on him early on, which I think they're deep enough at the position to do it with the rookie they just took with Tyler Batty. Yeah. And Mike Davis. I think they can kind of ease him in. It might not be a full workload till a few weeks in. That's fine. Like
Gus Edwards, the odd man out there.
Well, Gus is coming off an injury too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they got injured the same day.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, no, once him and Gus are healthy, I think they're going to be pretty split. Probably like 40-30, 50-40. Like, it's going to be pretty split between them with how they use him to keep him fresh. But his explosive, he doesn't need a ton of carries.
Yeah. Agreed 100%. Yeah.
I'll say, and they used him in the red zone a lot his rookie year when he still wasn't getting a lot of opportunities because he scored 8 times. Like, they used him there as a rookie when he was still learning.
Yeah.
So I feel confident in him because of that.
Yeah, and going for 2's injury analyst, the doc, as we call him, Dr. Jim, in the Discord chat was asked this question as well, and he said that he's not worried about Dobbins. They'll keep him out, ease him in, like Ryan said, but he says he should be ready to go. The injuries had over a year to heal up by the time the season starts.
Yeah, Harbaugh and Harbaugh sounded really confident about so did DaCosta. Like, I'm not that worried.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Brian, you were up here at the 110.
Well, as much as I should have thought that Ryan was going to take Dobbins, I didn't think he would go 3 running backs in a row. So I'm gonna.
What you don't know about me is I will do that in drafts. I will 100% go 3 to 4 running backs to start.
You know, I've seen with Baker Mayfield, who is, let's say, a mediocre quarterback, right? To be kind, maybe at times, although he was banged up. But anyway, I've seen him, support, Chubb and Hunt, and they both produce, right? Chubb, as was said before, less with the receiving. I'm going to take Kareem Hunt though in a PPR format. I think he's. I think I saw a tweet the other day where like he was RB9 or something before he got injured last year, and like his lowest finish is like somewhere in the 20s maybe. So even with Chubb there, he's produced. So I'll take him.
Yeah, and there's also the chance that, because I've heard him sort of thrown around in trade rumors too, so maybe he gets traded somewhere where he becomes the RB1 because we know he's got that upside. He did it with Kansas City. So if he goes somewhere like it was an injury in the preseason and they want to move him, they can trade him away and then he gains value from there. So I
refuse to believe that.
I'm just saying what the rumors say.
I just don't believe it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you do that if you're trying to win?
Yeah.
And you have whatever your QB situation is.
Well, let's say Deshaun Watson, ends up being out for the entire season. Maybe they just trade Kareem Hunt away and play for next year.
I mean, that team has a good enough defense. They can be a wild card team.
Yeah.
Butts and seats.
Gerson, you were up at the 111.
Yeah, I couldn't believe this guy fell to me. I honestly thought Brian was going to do the double stack with Chase and Higgins.
Right.
I'm going to go T. Higgins. T. Higgins had a pretty big breakout last year, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, even though it's actually very similar to his rookie season, but just 100 yards more. But he played 2 less games. So, but I think just the alpha wide receivers that we look for, those wide receivers are like 6 foot and over 205 pounds. This guy's 6'4", 214 or 216, I believe. But the thing is, like I said, the ceiling hasn't been touched with Higgins nor Chase. I don't think so, and Burrow. And I'm gonna go with him. I love my team so far. I think I have a pretty complete team.
Sorry.
Wide receiver, running back, and Lamar. I mean, that's pretty stacked for me. But it's tough though because after this, there's a big drop off.
Yeah, definitely. For those on audio that can't see us, that are going to listen to this on audio, they're going to think that Gerson just dropped the mic. I like my team, and then we hear Ryan's mic in the back.
That was just me.
Walk off set.
Yeah, that's just me being a brute. Sorry, Gerson.
All right, Ryan, you got the back-to-back here at the 112 and the 201.
Oh, I got back. I didn't realize it. Gerson, thank you for leaving me who I wanted to take.
Yeah,
and that's Deontay Johnson. Like, y'all love Higgins, but we want consistency. Deontay Johnson's last 2 years, 144 targets, 169 targets. He's got an improvement at quarterback. Like, what's there not to like? He's their lead receiver. He's gonna eat. And he is their legit number 1. Huh?
Yep.
He's going to get traded before the season starts. Watch. I'm just kidding.
Good. Then he goes to a team with a good quarterback, or hopefully a better quarterback. I mean, we don't get much worse than Trubisky, so it has to be improvement in most cases. But I don't understand why he doesn't get talked about more. He's still young enough and a target hog.
Yeah, it's crazy that people think, oh, well, he doesn't have Big Ben anymore. And I'm like, but was Big Ben really that good last year?
No, he was garbage. He had some of the worst decision-making, off-target throws, and ADOT in the league. Like, Mitch Trubisky might legit be an upgrade because he can stretch the field a little bit.
Trubisky is one of those guys that if he likes you, he throws you the ball a billion times. Go ask Allen Robinson. I mean, he averaged 14 targets a game with Trubisky when he was there. So if him and Deontay mesh together, I think Deontay's having a big season this year.
And then I'm back sticking with my receiver and taking Amari Cooper. I don't care who the quarterback is. He's still the only real receiving target they have. And with their running game, he's still not going to get – there's not going to be safeties over top. He's still going to get heavily targeted and produce. He's produced his whole career. He's super boring, which I feel like is the theme with my picks. But he's good. Let's not overthink it.
Yeah, and last year I didn't realize this. I went on to a fantasy game show, and I forget what the exact stats were, but didn't he have 8 or 9 touchdowns last year? I didn't even realize how good he actually was last year in the touchdown department.
Dude, Amari Cooper's always good.
Yeah,
I'm bringing it up. He's never not produced his whole career. He had 8 touchdowns last year.
8 touchdowns. It didn't feel like it, but he had 8 touchdowns last year. So yeah, really, really good season last year. All right, you with the 202.
I mean, I guess I'll do it because I don't think anybody else is going to do it. But since I already got most of my spots filled in, I'm going to go win with a super fight. I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson and choose him right here. Because if he gets suspended for the game, his points per game will outproduce basically all these other guys that are going to fall in right here. But I have Lamar Jackson. I'll put Deshaun Watson there, and then hopefully it swings back, I can get other wide receivers and running back and whatnot fill out more.
Yeah, he's sort of like the guy that no one knows where to take him. Like in Scott Fishbowl mock drafts that we're doing, I see him go semi-high. Sometimes they avoid him all the way into the 15th round. So he's one of those guys that if he ends up playing this year, wherever you get him, he's going to end up being a value. So yeah, I like that pick there at the 201 or the 202. Brian, we're back to you with the 203.
I'm gonna actually pivot
Brian?
off of what I was.
Brian.
I was originally gonna take somebody else, but I'm gonna go with David Njoku. I underrated for a while. There's not too many other people to throw to. Yeah, but then who? David Bell, right? DPJ, Anthony Schwartz. There's not much there. And he's athletic, and he just got a contract. They have confidence in him. And I think, even a Brissett, is competent enough. He fed Gesicki last year when he filled in for 2. Let's go with Njoku.
I like that. Yeah, I had a stat on that offense coming into last year that if you were to combine Harrison Bryant, Njoku, and Austin Hooper when he was there into one player, you end up with tight end number 6. So now that Hooper's no longer there, Njoku gets more of the workload. Maybe he has that breakout season that we've been hoping for a while for him. So I like that pick. Tight end premium league for sure.
Harrison Bryant season.
It could be, but I would bet on the guy that just paid a lot of money.
I would too.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, you were up at the 204.
Taking Rashad Bateman. He's the last guy on this list who's the top target on their team. After Andrews, he's the next guy. He's been with Lamar all offseason working out with him. They've been together since January. Even when Hollywood Brown was still on the team, it wasn't there. It was Bateman. They're talking him up. He's doing all the press conferences now. He flashes a rookie, even though he got no real time with Lamar. He has the draft capital. Everything's there for him to succeed. And I'm willing to bet that we see a nice season out of him.
Yeah, I hope you're right, because I definitely bet on Bateman, and a lot of my league person knows this. And one of the leagues that me and him are in, I have Bateman, and my home league I have Bateman. I actually passed on Jalen Waddle to get Bateman, so I'm kind of sweating bullets right now, hoping Bateman pans out because after seeing Waddle,
you drafted Bateman over Waddle.
I did.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do that. That means you're spending way too much time with me.
Yeah, well, I technically speaking, I traded back. So I had the spot where Waddle would have gone, and I traded back to get Bateman. So I could have had Waddle at the spot that I had him at, but I picked up an extra draft pick. So it wasn't quite a 1-for-1.
That's fair.
All right, Gerson, that's the drop off right there. I think at this point there's definitely a teardrop here. So now it's going to get interesting here at the 205, Gerson. Where are you going?
I'm gonna have to go with the most immature wide receiver in the NFL, Chase Claypool. I mean, if there's a guy that if he could put it all together, he could have a very top 12 wide receiver season. Not season, but a top 12 season. But it's just he's too immature and he has very what do you call him, rock hands basically. Drop whatever comes to him. His route needs improvement for sure. There's so many. He's just immature. I don't like him as a player, but for fantasy, he produced back-to-back wide receiver 3 now. So to me, Claypool with Trubisky, but they brought in some competition though. So he better watch over his back,
They made him do the selection, which I still find that hilarious that he just
with a guy with a very similar skill set.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how big of a slap in the face it is? Man, go up there and announce your replacement, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Damn, dude. I mean, according to him, he said the best wide receiver in the NFL? I think he said.
Top three.
Top three.
Top three? Dude, I don't know what weed you're smoking, bro.
The real good
stuff. And his contract his contract runs out after 23. So that's why a lot of folks are like, yeah, Pickens is your Claypool replacement, and they're gonna give Deontay the bag, even though the pattern has been not paying those second contract receivers, or at least having a feud with them. People, Pittsburgh people that I talk to are like, they're going to give Deontay the bag. They're going to let Claypool walk after 23, and it's Pickens time. If, of course, he gets his head on straight and puts an effort in place.
Their beat writers just said they refuse to give Deontay $20 million a year, though. So that makes it interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting because Steelers are renowned for not paying receivers. They just draft them and let them walk. All right, Brian, you got the 206 here.
Yeah. So speaking of receivers, I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd. He disappeared at times last year. Now that there's two big guys there, but in PPR he can be a heavily targeted guy. He's a good safety net, and the tight end isn't so great there. So that sort of mid-range targets are gonna go to Boyd as far as I'm concerned. And just looking at the player pool, I probably have the most confidence in him there. So I'm going to go with Boyd.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the one I would have gone with there too. I think Boyd as a number 3 is better than some of these guys here that are probably number 2s. But yeah, I think Boyd is where I would have gone there as well. I think he has enough ability to sort of fill in for bye weeks and that kind of stuff if you need him to. So I like that pick. Ryan, 207.
Okay, we have 2 picks left. Cool. I'm going Hayden Hurst. Huh?
Yeah, you got 2 picks left. Yep.
Okay. I'm going Hayden Hurst. Sticking with the Bengals. CJ Uzomah did fairly well last year, especially late on in the season once they got to the playoff run. And while he ended up going, they brought Hayden Hurst, who is ultra athletic, has first-round draft capital. We've seen him flash, and he has the ability to stay on the field all 3 downs. He could hop right in that role and give a little bit of upside and give them just that wide open red zone threat like everybody's hogging Higgins and Chase.
Yeah, he definitely has the ability to do it. I mean, famously, he was drafted in the same draft to the Ravens ahead of Mark Andrews.
2 rounds, yeah.
Yeah, 2 rounds ahead of him. So we've been kind of hoping that he would have that breakout eventually. He went to Atlanta, didn't really do much there, but he looked at the opportunity in this offense. So I like that pick there at the 206 or 207. Gerson, you get the 208.
Oh, wow. This is just ugly. But I think I'm going to take Kenny Pickett. I mean, Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky. Because
they're the same person.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky, because he's the starting quarterback. That's probably what I'm going to squeeze out the best value out of all players available. I mean, I know I have 3 quarterbacks, but I think he's the best player available for what we're looking for right now, because all these other guys are basically just third stringers or backup running back that I probably would not even give a shit about.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think super flex leagues, you go Trubisky. He is a starter, and that's really what you're looking for your third quarterback. Really, is just someone who's going to play. All right, Brian, you're up at the 209.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett. I think he's the starter sooner than people think. I know it was a down class for quarterbacks, but going into the draft, my bold prediction was no quarterback will be taken before 20. It'll only be one in the first round, and it won't be Malik Willis.
Wow.
People thought I was nuts, and it happened. The NFL told us that, sure, a down class, but the NFL readiness of Kenny Pickett was a huge gap between where they took projects like Ritter and Willis, and I think he gets on the field sooner than people think. And mind you, I'm somebody who thinks Trubisky is underrated, so I'm going to go with Pickett for my QB2 in Superflex.
Hey, I said it too, man. I was on the same page. I said I think Kenny Pickett the only first-round quarterback in this draft. I said it for even like real life, and then even for fantasy, I was like, I don't think any of these quarterbacks excite me for fantasy.
I said none of them deserve it.
Yeah, and I think Jeff, Ryan, and all of us, we did a mock draft. We didn't even draft a quarterback.
The quarterback didn't even go
or anything. But I like that call, man.
All right, Ryan, your last pick in this mock, the 210.
I'm going with the wide receiver 2 in Baltimore, James Prochet.
I knew it. I could have parked somewhere before you picked.
I just want to talk about James. Like, he's getting so much quiet buzz from Dot Media, because anytime they have press conferences with whether it's Harbaugh, Greg Roman, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Bateman, they all just keep talking about how he's producing, how he's making these circus catches, he's making plays. I think everyone thought it's Duvernay who they're leaving, I think, in his special teams role, that slot role. And I think it's Prochet who's the wide receiver too this year. And it's a quick path to wide receiver 1 in some case. I see in the comments about Duvernay. I love Duvernay, but I don't think his role changes too much. Maybe some more rushes and stuff, but he's a special teams ace, and that matters in Baltimore. They're not going to kill him on the offense when they have somebody with a similar game style who they can put there in way better hands.
What are your thoughts on Tylan Wallace?
Man, I love Tylan Wallace, but it's just you don't hear enough chirps about him. Like, there's not enough talk from beat writers about him making plays, stuff like that. I think he might move into the wide receiver 3 or 4 role, but I don't think he's there with the other guys yet. Even though I wish he was, because that was one of my draft guys.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan. I think I'm rooting for Prochet, because I think you remember, before the draft that year, I sent you his tape. Like, watch this kid. Yep. And literally, it was just a highlight reel, but he caught like 6 one-handed passes in this highlight reel. And I'm like, this kid is, pretty awesome. Then, of course, he got drafted to the Ravens, and then, we've been kind of watching his career ever since. So I hope he gets the opportunity. I'd love to see him get that chance to be the number 2. And after Ryan told me that he's going to be the number 2 in that offense, I went and got him in all of my leagues. Like, he was available in every league. And now I see he's the sleepers top, the top trending player right now on sleeper. So I got a little bit ahead of the curve.
If you've been listening to the show, I've been saying it.
Yep. All right, Gerson, your last pick at the 211.
Hey, give me David Bell. I've been a big David Bell truther. I've drafted him everywhere in like the 3rd round, late 2nd round if I can get him. But I play in 16-team leagues, 32-team leagues, like bigger leagues, and then I play 12-team leagues. So, but it's just David Bell. I mean, Amari Cooper and him are basically the best wide receivers on their team. I know that people are DPJ and Anthony Forth, but I like DPJ, but I don't think when David Bell get accustomed there and everything, if Deshaun Watson can actually throw a damn accurate ball, apparently he can't in training camp. But once they get going, I like the upside with him there.
Good stuff. All right, Brian, round out our 2-round mock here at the 212.
Yeah, as much as I'm not big on Bell, I think people really double counted with the combine, and he's maybe getting a little deflated. So with my last pick, I like Jerome Ford's skill set, and I obviously like his last name. I think they drafted him to be the next Kareem Hunt. But I actually, sorry, you already crossed it out. I'm going to go with Benny Snell. I think Benny Snell isn't getting the love. He's a tweaked ankle away from a good portion of Najee's volume. And when you're looking for late, scraping the bottom of the barrel, you're looking for upside, and you're looking for a guy who might be an injury away, and I'll take Snell. Yeah,
that's a good call. And going back to your Bell point too, you're right. That happens every year, double counting, where we, pre-combine, we ding a player because we think he's not going to do well at the combine, and then he goes and doesn't do well at the combine, and we ding him again. Like, we've already taken those away from him before the combine. Why are we doing it a second time? So I agree there 100% on David Bell. So some good stuff. All right, I mentioned him earlier in the show, but our injury analyst, Dr. Jim, he has his own book out. So are you tired of vague, misleading injury reports costing you games? Well, Going for Two's own injury analyst, Dr. James Ferretti, wants to help with his book, Injury Suck, but your team doesn't have to. The doc will show you a clear approach to player injuries, media reports, and coach speak, as well as how to anticipate and act quickly when injuries strike. Available for purchase on Amazon, or you can use his link in his Twitter profile at TFS Doc. Stop guessing, start winning. And just a quick plug too, the doc now has a channel in our Discord. It's called The Doctor's In, I think, or something to that effect, where you can go and tag him and ask him injury questions, and he will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. You can find a link to the Discord all over my Twitter account. Right now, it's all about the Scott Fish Bowl, but definitely get in there. Dr. James does an excellent job. He's also on our Monday night show during the season, giving injury analysts for the weekend. So definitely check out his book. It's awesome. I have a copy on my nightstand. So it's a great book. All right, now we are the NFC North mock.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, I'm getting a little feedback here. I don't know if maybe it's on my end here. Let me turn my fan off. Nope. Trying to figure out are y'all hearing the feedback, or is it just me?
I'm hearing.
All right.
No, I think you're good.
Am I good now? Okay.
This is why we
All
do
right.
live shows, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. We do it live. That's what happens when you do live. All right. So let's get to the NFC. Whoa.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. All right. I think we're good now. All right. Let's get to the NFC North mock. And Brian, you have the 101 here. So give us your 101 here. Again, tight end premium, super flex.
right. So bit of a segue from the injury doc. I'm old enough to remember when teams used doubtful, and it wasn't where half the league was questionable. So that made things a lot easier. 101 super flex. We're looking at some pretty good quarterbacks in this division. I happen to really think one of them is gonna take a dip this year, and one of them is like way underrated. So I'm gonna surprise people and go with Kirk Cousins.
All right. Wow. Kirk Cousins at the 101. That's me a surprise there. I just saw someone tweet on Twitter. They screenshot Scott Fish went on and said that Kirk Cousins can get
About
being a top 5 QB this year. He could be. I'm like, that's pretty bold. I know Scott's a Vikings fan, so maybe there's some tongue in cheek there, but I was like, I saw that. I'm like, whoa. All right. So Kirk Cousins, the 101 here. All right, we're gonna have to speed up a little bit here, guys. So let's keep our analysis pretty short because we are running a little long. So Gerson at the 102.
I think I'm gonna go with it. Quarterback's ugly for me. I'd rather go with DeAndre Swift here. I'm a big Swift fan. I think he's top 3 running back this year, top 5, at least. He bulked up too. I don't know if you guys saw the picture, but apparently if you flex the muscle, you bulked up, But like, see, his upside, if he stays healthy, is top 5 for sure, locked in. He has probably like 70 to 80 reception upside, And if he gets that rushing upside, it should be good. They improved their offense too, Jameson Williams will come probably like week 6, week 7, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a good call. And I think Brian, you said that when Chris was coming on, because Chris is a Lions fan, you were gonna take Swift 101 just to piss him off.
Yeah. But it was super flex, so I had to go different direction.
Switch it up. All right, Ryan, what you got for the 103?
Goddamn. I guess I'm thinking Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's super flex. I completely last draft said screw quarterback. Like, I don't care that Adams is gone. He's good, man. He's gonna find a way. I remember Jordy Nelson left with, Aaron Rodgers is gonna struggle. He didn't. He found somebody. He's gonna find somebody. I don't care if he's 40. This is redraft. He's gonna produce.
Yeah, I like that. In
It's simple.
redraft for sure. Aaron Rodgers is up there. Brian, back to you at the 104.
A guy that I've been fading in Dynasty, but I think with Adams' absence is going to have a pretty big 2022. That's Aaron Jones. I'll take him.
Yeah, that's a good call. He was our second leading receiver last year behind Devontae Adams, so I think that's a good call. Gerson at the 105.
The guy I was baiting at 102, whatever pick I was last time. With Justin Field, I think Konami code quarterback. He has a rushing upside. I mean, we've seen what his ceiling is, but we've also seen his floor last season. It was pretty ugly and it was pretty awesome. I mean, but it's just, to me, out of all the players on this list, because it's pretty ugly, he probably has the highest potential to get 20 points per game, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Definitely in a super flex league. Justin Fields is one of those top quarterbacks. You want to grab those young guys that are Konami code. Ryan, 106.
You guys did not pick out one dude to pick, so I had an easy decision. I'm going Justin Jefferson, man. Like, it was between him and Dalvin, but Justin Jefferson's good. He's consistent. He's wide receiver one. I don't care what anyone says. Like, he's gonna be a top receiver this year, and I'm all in. I almost took him over Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna be honest.
No, so you end up getting both of them. Yeah, I like Justin Jefferson.
I got both anyways.
Yeah, he can definitely be the number one overall receiver this year. I think with the 101 Kirk Cousins that we had in this draft already. So, all right, Brian, we're back to you at 107.
I know this is gonna. I'm just doing this just for shits and giggles. I probably would have gone with another person at this position, but I am committed to Cole Kmet being big this year. Number 2 target behind Mooney. He's going to eat. He's going to easily get over 100 targets. Love him. My article drops Friday. Target him in Dynasty.
Yeah, Brian Ford is a professional. He got the plug in there as well. Good stuff. Gerson at the 108.
Man, it's hard. But I'm going to have to go David Montgomery.
Over Dalvin Cook. Oh, you got to
Ew.
Shit. Yeah, I'll take Dalvin Cook. Yeah, you're right.
I was like, whoa.
Carson.
Yeah, I'll take Dalvin Cook. Top 5 running back, upside for sure. Dude, it was great. Yeah, he got 16 touchdowns. I did not know that.
Dalvin doesn't even need 10 games. Doesn't even need 15 games to produce, man.
Give me Dalvin Cook for sure here. After that,
Yeah.
He had 1,300 yards in 13 games last year.
I don't know his name.
Like, he's a monster. If he's there for fantasy playoffs, are good.
You are good. Ryan, you got the 109.
Yeah, now that Gerson changed his mind and went back and forth.
I can do that.
He can do that. I'm going to take TJ Hawkinson. I'm nervous about him because he kind of let me down last year a little bit, but the talent's there. We've seen the flashes. We're in tight end premium, so I'm going to take the upside there because tight end, if you can win that position, it's a big advantage in fantasy.
Yeah.
And where he's going value-wise, I think that kind of puts him ahead of the rest of the guys, even though he may not be as safe as somebody like David Montgomery.
Good stuff. 110, Brian.
Yeah, so I'm thinking here in PPR and the fact that I don't have a wide receiver. This one's tough. Mooney to the moon. I think it's going to be a really good season for Mooney. I just talked about Kmet being 2. I think Mooney's the 1, and he's going to eat. Love him. Mooney to the moon.
All right. Gerson, you're at the 111.
Yeah, I'm very high on Darnell Mooney too. I think I'm gonna have to go with my boy here, and I know people are probably gonna think I'm a little well, Jeff knows this. I'm high on him, and so is Big Pulowski. We're both high on him. It's Mr. Christian Watson. I'm going to take Watson just because I need a wide receiver. Give me Christian Watson. I know Ryan is laughing because
I'll explain. That's not why I'm laughing at it.
Oh,
I love the pick. That's not why I'm laughing at your pick.
oh, okay. Yeah, but I love Christian Watson. I think to him, he has that upside to be a wide receiver too in that Green Bay Packers offense. I mean, I think the other guy that we know is probably Alan Lazard, but I think just the body type that he is, if Aaron Rodgers can make the best of him, his upside is probably a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, you got the back-to-back. But first, you got to explain why you were laughing.
Oh, that's not good to my pick. My reason I was laughing because 2 picks ago, Gerson was ready to take David Montgomery over Dalvin Cook. Instead, he takes Christian Watson over David Montgomery. I'm taking David Montgomery. He's a lead back. He's solid. I have no questions. I'm starting him every week. That's the analysis on him. Pick number 2 is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was a target monster last year. Jameson Williams missed some camp. It's going to take him a while, even once he's back from injury, to get his footing back. We already know Goff has a connection with Amon-Ra. He's going to be fine. I think we've panicked over him a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I think we've seen guys that, get their opportunity and then don't perform with it. And he got the opportunity and he performed. So I think that
he could be a wide receiver. He can be a solid wide receiver 2 for a while.
Yep.
And especially this year. So I'm cool with him.
All right, Gerson. I think that's our teardrop right there. I think at the 202 is where you teardrop in the NFC North. It gets a little bit tougher from here. Who are you going with?
I'm going AJ Dillon. I mean, he's not. Everybody considers him a handcuff. I don't think he's going to be much of a handcuff this year. I think he's going to be like a running back too, because Aaron Jones is going to play a lot of wide receiver, a lot of that slot, a lot of moving around and everything. They're going to have AJ Dillon out there being the running back. I mean, he did pretty damn good last year. I think he was a running back 3, no?
Yeah, I think he even had more carries than Aaron Jones did last year.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a great pass catcher too. Something I did not expect out of him when I did the rookie breakdown for him and stuff. I saw he had like no hands or anything, and like he was just a straight runner. But he proved me wrong.
Just say you hate big running backs. That's fine.
Yeah.
Brian, you got the 203.
Yeah, so Superflex, there's one NFL-worthy quarterback left, and he's underrated, like my guy Cousins, Jared Goff.
All right, good stuff, Jared Goff. And Ryan, we are back to you at the 204.
Yikes for Rooney, this is bad. I'm taking Jamal Williams. He got a ton of carries last year, even when DeAndre Swift is there. That offense is improved. He's going to get the red zone work. He's a big back. He's a solid between the tackles guy. He's going to get work if Swift goes down. He's a running back too.
Yeah, I like Williams there as well. I wanted some other things to happen in that backfield. They just didn't happen. So Williams is the guy there that's going to be basically backing up Swift, and probably mix in as well. He probably has
I think it'll be. I bet he gets more rushing attempts than Swift gets.
Yeah, it's a good call.
He just doesn't get the because Swift's going to catch 60 balls.
Yep.
But I could see him with 200 plus carries.
Agreed. Gerson 205.
I'm gonna go with your boy Eric Smith Jr. Need a tight end anyways, and I'd rather have a guy that's probably already back from his injury and whatnot. Tanyan is still kind of skeptical to me, but I like Eric Smith Jr. I mean, we've been waiting forever for what it feels like a Jeff lifetime, But yeah, I mean, give me Eric Smith Jr. with the upside. New offense. A lot of people are underrating the new offense they're gonna have. And Justin Jefferson is a wide receiver. For him to say, "Oh, we're gonna pass the ball all the time now. We're gonna pass it so much more." Like, okay, dude, we'll see it when we see it on the field. Yeah, real game stuff.
All right. And Brian, you're up at the 206. We got Nemo in the chat. He wants to know about Amon-Ra. We've already drafted Amon-Ra. He must have missed that. But Jameson Williams and Thielen are both on the board. Are you going with one of those two guys?
I'm going to hedge my fade Rodgers, and I'm going to go with Alan Lazard. Rodgers said he's ready to be the one, has a lot of confidence in him, so let's go for it.
Nice. Good pick. 207, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm hooked on a Thielen. He's good, man. Like, he was hurt last year. We forgot. He's good. Like, what's there to say? He's good. He's going to score 8 touchdowns. He's going to get 900 yards. You're going to start him. You're going to be happy. a wide receiver 3 who's just really solid and really cheap.
Yeah, and he will have those weeks where he gives you 2 touchdowns in a week. So I think that
it doesn't need to be complicated. Like, he's a solid football player. I don't know why we have to overthink him.
He's a great ADP value too.
Yeah, I think
Huge value.
I did a stat. I think it was, I don't know if it was last year or if it was 2020, but every red zone target that Thielen had was an end zone target. Like literally everyone within the 20-yard line, he was in the end zone when he threw the pass to him. So that's just a crazy stat right there. That's where Kirk Cousins is looking at.
He had 10 touchdowns in 13 games last year, in 14 and 15 games last year.
Yep.
He's solid. Like, his role's set.
Yep.
He's their number 2 target, and they're going to pass a lot because their defense stinks.
Agreed. Gerson, you got the 208?
I'm going to go with Jameson Williams now. You know, I know he's injured, but for me, Ryan, I probably talked this. I mean, he top 3 wide receiver in this draft class. I don't know where you had him, Ryan, but I had him pretty high if he would have been healthy. And what's going to change in 6 weeks, you know, when he probably misses what? Is it 4 weeks now, the pup list?
I think it's still 6 games for the pup, but I think injured reserve, I think they could put him on injured reserve.
Yeah, injured reserve's 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he misses 4 to 6 games, okay, but this is a redraft. We're down to the nitty-gritty. So I'll take Jameson Williams for the upside later on.
Yeah, betting on the upside there. I agree there. I think that he would have been probably the 101 receiver had he not been injured. And I think I still had him at 102, even with the injury, because I liked him that much. Brian, 209.
Yeah, so I see a couple sneaky upside wide receivers, but similar to my Benny Snell pick earlier, I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert. Not only a tweaked ankle away, but I've seen some things that he's going to sort of, get a more run anyway, regardless of that. So let's go with Herbert.
Nice. Yeah, I'm actually writing an article for Fantasy Pros now, and Herbert's in the article talking about some late round running backs to take, and I think he has some upside there because David Montgomery's in the last year of his contract, and the Bears might want to see what they have in Herbert to see if they're going to let David Montgomery walk. So Herbert could get some run there. 210, Ryan.
I am taking Alexander Madison. I think he's one of the premier handcuffs in the NFL right now. He's done nothing but produce when Dalvin's been out. He's had over 90 yards in 5 of 7 games without him. He's averaging 79 yards a game in a half a touchdown. Like, that's production. In another 36 in the air in games when Dalvin's out. Like, he gets some work when he's there, so he has some standalone flex value if you're desperate to be pleased. But he gives you value, enormous value, borderline RB1 when Dalvin's out.
Yeah, he's a DFS darling whenever Dalvin Cook's out. Gerson knows this. We talk about him every time Dalvin's out. It's put Madison in there as long as he's not too expensive.
If I draft Dalvin, I'm reaching for him a little bit. Like, yeah. I want to protect that.
Agreed. All right, Gerson, your last pick at the 211.
I'm going to go KJ Osborne. This offense is going to go more wide receiver 3 wide receiver set, They're going to change their whole offense. I think KJ Osborne can provide that ceiling. And if Jefferson or Thielen goes down, he has that upside. We've seen him have big games, out of nowhere, too. It's never expected. It's just a random-ass game. But I like KJ Osborne. He's very athletic. He knows how – he gets open very well, too. But I don't really see anything else here, so I'm definitely going to be KJ Osborne here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm curious to where Brian goes here because there's not a whole lot left on the board. I just want to read out the board. That's what's left. We got Tanyan, we got DJ Shark, we got Jordan Love, we got Kellen Mond. I don't have any running backs on my list that were listed still. Who are you going with here, Brian?
So my many, many fans and followers, LOL, know that I am fond of my deep cuts. And so I am going to go off the menu here and take Tyson Chandler, the real Dalvin Cook handcuff. Alexander Madison is going to get a lot of, play in the slot and move him around, things like that. And I think Chandler's role is going to be underestimated by people. He was not sexy. He's one of these, jack of all trades, master of none running backs like Hassan Haskins going into the draft. And I think they got good value for him in the NFL draft. And he's a guy that I'm targeting late in rookie drafts and dynasty or post draft waivers. I actually think he could be sneaky even in 2022.
Nice. I like it. I like the deep cut there because, yeah, he wasn't even on my list there. I like it. All right, let's get to our last segment.
Get ready for goingfor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Brian. So Gerson had no time to prepare. He's done this before, so we're not going to have him give us a forgotten fantasy player. He literally had like 20 minutes before the show before we told him he was coming on. So give us your forgotten fantasy player, Brian.
Yeah, so I'm going to cheat and do sort of two. One is I got Michael Vick. I don't know if y'all remember. I don't know what year it was. I'm old. It's fuzzy. But there was that one game where he just obliterated people. And if you were up against him that week, no matter what your team was, you lost. I got Michael Vick that week. Yeah. Okay. But on a positive note, Matt Forte, in one of my first years playing PPR, I grabbed him at good value. And he really produced for me and then I think I got him a second year and did as well when still with the Bears, not with my woeful Jets.
Yeah, Forte was a good one because he did kind of he was just consistent every year. And he was sort of that pass catching running back before the pass catching running back became like the norm. He was just that guy that always did everything for you.
Rookie of the year, right?
Yeah. I think
Forte was a beast for a while.
Yeah, he was definitely a beast.
PPR beast.
I got a funny story about that Mike Vick game that you were talking about too. So it was I was playing against somebody else and I was blowing him out. And I think he made a joke. He had Michael Vick. It was a Monday night game versus the Washington Redskins, and he had Michael Vick. And he put a comment in our chat like, "Oh, I need Michael Vick to get whatever it was, 4 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, whatever it was." He gave this crazy stat that was like totally impossible to reach. And Michael Vick went out and did everything that he said, and the guy lost by 0.5. I was like, you should have done some better math there. You should have done some better math and figured out what you really need. Just throwing some stats out there. But Vick, I think, dropped like 56 points that game or something. It was ridiculous, and he ended up losing by 0.5.
Yikes.
All right, fellas. That wraps the podcast up. We'll go around the room here really quick and give us your Twitter handle. And if you want to plug anything, we'll go to you first, Brian.
Yeah, so at FFJunkie_, Dynasty Fever Podcast, at Dynasty Fever Pod. My prior articles on fantasyandframes.com, and of course, all my work moving forward now in the Going for Two family. And shout out to Jesse Schneeman, my co-host on Dynasty Fever. He also co-hosts Dynasty War Games, a game show Friday nights on YouTube.
Nice. Gerson.
Nemo, you're a freaking troll. Shut up. And yeah, you can find me at Fantasy GDFS. I do the Friday show every week during the NFL season with Jeff and Tim. We do the Armchair Fantasy show for DFS. And then you can also find me tomorrow, actually, here with Kyle Senra, I believe tomorrow, right? He's on.
Yep, Thursday night. Yeah, Dynasty Gambit.
You don't know when you podcast anymore?
Yeah.
You do that many bits to break time?
Hey, today I was a replacement, okay? I would ask to be on the next one tomorrow, okay? I'm just a leftover for you guys. But, yeah, you can find me during the season. So, I'm excited, man. 8 more weeks.
Yeah, and I want to plug something really quick on that note with the DFS show. Gerson doesn't know this yet, but I'm planning on doing a DFS sort of 101 podcast in August sometime when me and Tim and Gerson will get together and we'll just kind of go through some basics, get you prepared for the season. So if you're a DFS newbie, you definitely want to tune into that show sometime in August.
But hopefully you give me better advice than Gerson in 101s last year.
Punk.
All right, Ryan, what you got?
Find me here every Wednesday night. Go for 2. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board. We did Dynasty Big Board podcast. Yeah, it's not fun. But yeah, and find me on Twitter at Foss534.
Good stuff. As always, guys, follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. I just want to plug one last time our Discord channel that we now have over 600 members of. It's pretty live. We got a lot of things going on there, mostly Scott Fishbowl stuff right now, but we're going to keep going after the Scott Fishbowl thing is over and roll into our regular fantasy leagues, redraft leagues, everything else. Maybe I can get Gerson and Ryan to pop in every once in a while and say a few things. But for the guys,
if I'm tagged, I will. If I'm tagged or messaged, I will talk to anybody anytime. Always open to that.
All right,
don't have randomness.
You have to go find me on Facebook to get me there.
Yeah, Gerson's a Facebook guy. We have to. He's old
Gerson,
school.
you need to get in touch with your youth and not be like
Gerson
a
just
16-year-old
graduated
spinster.
from MySpace to Facebook. He just got there.
I got my OnlyFans.
Dude,
All right,
people
for
would pay
Ryan,
not to be on that.
for Ryan, for Gerson, I'm Jeff. We will see y'all next week.